early on, I mean, I couldn't afford a computer of my own, so I started working on my parents' computer, like just in their office, basically when they weren't working, and that's where I started making music in the early days. I can't even remember what I was using back then. But just a lot of experimenting and learning really is all it was. I didn't really get a proper setup of my own until a few years ago, even for that matter. Uh, but I've always kind of been the type of musician who just sort of, I just scrape together what I can find and what's available to me, and like, what can I make with this? And that's kind of been my approach all along. So a lot of the sound and the ideas are typically defined more so by those limitations than anything else. So, you know, if I know I have a computer that can only handle a certain number of tracks at a time, then that's all I've got to work with.
Out on the open sea, you dropped a bomb on me. Out on the ocean blue, there's nothing I could do.
Kind of trying to bring a band energy to it. So I was doing a lot of electronic music with a lot of loud guitars, which is you don't really see too often. At least at the time, you didn't. The writing happens as I record. I'll figure out a beat or I'll figure out a bass line, and it'll get recorded before I even know what the rest of the song sounds like. I basically just play with a keyboard or a bass or a guitar or a beat until I find something that strikes a chord and I'm like, this is something I want to pursue.
Just beginning. Out on the ocean blue, there's nothing I could do.
A lot of it was recording based. Like, I would record way before I would figure out how the heck to play it live. That was very rarely a concern, at least not until the band came into the picture. Then I started thinking about, like, well, what's our drummer going to do? What's our bass player going to do? What guitar parts are available to play for someone? Can we do all of these parts live at the same time? We've also been changing up our setup a lot from show to show, and we're still doing that now even. Just recently we did a couple of shows as just the two of us again, so like, it's all over the place usually, and the songs haven't really changed over the 20 years. Most people don't realize I'm still playing a lot of the same songs, but they sound very different from show to show. And I feel like I've gotten off track, but that's the trick pretty much right there. So it's a rock influenced electronic project, I would say, just because I've kind of always had my my feet in both worlds a little bit.